Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and in today's video we'll be taking a look at some of the new AZERITE trades that Blizzard have added into the patch 8.1 PTR. The thing is, we can't even test these traits and I can't really show you. So in today's video, I'm simply just going to be parking my Nightborn Rogue over in the Rogue Order hole in the PTR, and we'll be taking a look at all those traits, seeing what Blizzard is adding into patch 8.2. Now, most of what Blizzard is working on for patch 8.2 is the necklace stuff, the Heart of Azeroth, and adding those extra abilities, the actives as well as the passives. That's what they're really banking on. They also mentioned in a Wowhead article where they're not going to be doing any crazy class changes. They are going to be doing adjustments, but again, no crazy reworks like what we saw in Legion, which I'm actually kind of saddened by because I always like when the game is changing, when it's new, and I kind of like it when in the middle of the patch, just the class goes completely from, let's say, bad, unfun to play to really fun and exciting. I think a lot of you guys can think of a few specs, maybe some that you're playing that could really use that type of rework. Anyway, let's take a look at what they have changed for classes and what we'll be seeing out in the game when it comes to patch 8.2. Now I am going to put my gear scaling to Mythic so we can see the highest potential of these traits, and Blizzard added 3 new traits in the brand new raid. Now, these traits, again, are going to be very similar to how they themed a lot of the traits in BOD. I guess the theme was Bon Samedi. That's really what it came down to. And one of the more popular ones was Treacherous Covenant. Your primary stat is increased by a bunch while you're above 50% health, but it has this like deal effect to it where you deal with death. When you drop below 15% health, you take more damage, so you're more likely to die. So the theme for this one is going to be a little bit different with Azshara. So all these are going to be themes, so keep that in mind when we take a look at them. First trait we're going to see after the first boss, and again, I'm very happy that every single boss drops an AZERITE trait that we can take a look at in terms of all the different pieces, and every single boss you get a chance for these compared to the first trait. Very happy that they did that again. The first piece of gear, we actually get to see one of the first few traits called Undulating Tides. Your damage and abilities and spells have a chance to crash a wave upon your target for at the highest mythic level at 445 gear for about 9,000 or 8,000 worth of frost damage. When your health drops below 50%, you gain a shield, absorbing 65k damage within 8 seconds. Very similar and reminds me of the Safeguard Trinket for PvP, and mine actually at 425 absorbs 83k health. I'm pretty sure that number is wrong. It shouldn't be 83, but maybe it is that high. So it's going to be a portion of your health, not the biggest portion as we saw. When this effect occurs, however, Undulating Tides cannot trigger again for 45 seconds. Now what I'm getting out of this is, as long as you're high health, you're able to deal frost damage to the enemy. As long as you drop below 50%, you'll get the shield to save you, but then the damage aspect is going to be gone. So this trait is mostly a defensive, and I guess a melee can use it, but I definitely could see tanks and healers use this far more because of this self-healing capability. So I'm thinking maybe there's going to be some boss fights where as a melee you can actually avoid damage completely. There won't be as much AoE damage going out, so this Undulating Tides can actually get full effect as long as you're in the right location at the right time and a watchful position and are not getting hit by mechanics. So then if that is how they structure a lot of the raids, then Undulating Tides could be very much value. If not, there's a lot of AoE damage just like we saw in BOD, just everybody drops down to very, very low out of nowhere. This effect is simply just going to be a shield most of the times. Cool idea, but I definitely could see like a healer use this a lot more. Imagine a Restoration Druid or a Discipline Priest or a H-Pally in a Mythic Plus scenario where they can do quite a bit of damage, but they always have the shield every time they drop low. From a DPS perspective, I think this is a pretty bad trait, but in terms of healers and maybe even certain tanks, I could see this doing quite a bit of output, especially if Undulating Tides procs a lot. I guess we'll have to see if mechanics of the next trait will allow us to maintain this damage output of this trait for long. Next boss we're going to be seeing another, and they do this weird thing with the loyal to the end. Sometimes it's up here, but sometimes it's down here. Normally this is the slot where they would have the I guess the non-spec specific traits on, but we'll look here. Loyal to the end is an interesting one. Your mastery is increased by a set amount plus additional 44 for each ally affected by loyal to the end up to 251. So at maximum mythic item level, this is the mastery you're getting. I did the math earlier. You need about 7.9 people to have this loyal to the end in order to get the full value out of it. So you need you and 8 other people in order to gain the mastery. The mastery on someone is low. The potential mastery you can get with the some mastery that it gives you and combined mastery from everybody is up to about 527, which is a good amount. So the more people have this, the more value there is to the raid. You also have the sadistic effect. When you die, your allies gain crit, haste, verse equal to the mastery bonus from this trait. So if there's any mechanics where a character needs to sacrifice themselves, I guess you would use anybody who has loyal to the end to give everybody else quite a bit of boost to damage. This is an interesting trait, but I feel like it's kind of it's going to be a raid only trait. I can't really see myself using this in a Mythic Plus unless everybody in my Mythic Plus group has loyal to the end, so we can all gain that extra mastery. And finally we have Arcane Heart. Every 1.5 million damage and healing done, you gain Omnipotence, increasing your highest stat by 6, 10 for 15 seconds, and you heal 5% of all arcane damage taken. Now, I'm not going to be surprised if the raid is full of arcane damage here and there, so you might be able to get some healing value out of it. This only procs every 1.5 million damage, however, so this is going to be a late proc ability. You have to do 1.5 before it procs. Makes me wonder how much DPS we're going to have for this raid, because currently right now most people are hovering in around the 20 to 25 to 28, anywhere between 20 to 30k mark, depending on boss fights. Also, it could be a little bit confusing in terms of how you'll be able to prog this trait. Maybe there's going to be warlocks that will be running the talent of Burning Rush where they're losing health, so healers can, or shadow priests even, or elemental shamans can heal them in order to maybe have some kind of a weak aura to track the amount of damage they're taking. It's like, okay, I healed you for about 1.45 million, so next time I heal you, I'm gonna have a guaranteed amount of that stat. I feel like it's just gonna be a weird wonky ways that people will try to see if they can use this Arcane Heart, and people are gonna use weird methods. So the warlock with Burning Rush and everybody healing them in order to get themselves closer so they can get the proc in the opener where most of the damage happens. I feel like for DPS we're gonna be doing something weird. If I can find where it's at, we got the turnip toy from Pandaria. It can only use this outside, so this tells me we won't be able to use it within raids. Although within dungeons you can actually use this, but you will be able to drop down a turnip and DPS it, kind of like how I can with a train dummy. This is just gonna be the weirdest thing ever. I can literally imagine it's like, okay everybody, let's start doing the whole DPS thing. Let's start getting our procs together. Everybody will be doing their damage until about that point. God forbid if you're a class with dots, because it'll be really hard to stop those dots in the way of doing the it's just a weird trait. I feel like it's just gonna result in some funky ways that people will be trying to find ways to prog this in the opener. If they maybe had this trait as a chance to prog, then it would be a lot easier, but every 1.5 million damage guarantee proc thing, I guess it's going to depend on how big your DPS is. The more damage you do, the more procs you get. It's just an awkward little Azerite trait that I don't really know if I could see myself really using. Although the primary stats that it gives you, or the highest stat, which I'm going to guess primary like agility and strength, is actually pretty up there. Anyway, these traits look interesting. I can definitely see some tomfoolery, and I can see what some people have said in the comments of Wowhead article, that these feel kind of boring. They feel very specific to the raid. I can't really see myself use this in PvP or really in Mythic Plus, and it feels like I'm kind of just back to the normal spec specific traits, because those seem to do the most amount of value of damage. I do hope that we get at least one more spec specific for sub, outlaw, assassin, every spec that's in the game, because that'll be kind of cool to see if Blizzard can come up with new ideas and new playstyles for us. Maybe some weird wonky playstyle, a lot what we saw at the very beginning of the expansion, like with the knife throw build for Assassin Rogues. I very much want to see stuff like this come back. I know that they've been kind of trying to get away from it, but I personally like that kind of interesting build, and kind of like how they build off of the legendary effects and try to make it into, I guess, abilities and effects for us. I really would like something like that to come back. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I do hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts about the new Azerite traits we're getting for patch 8.2. What do you think of them? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Is there any situation where you could see where you could use them? And if you do have any situations where you like them, are you excited for them? Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see all of you guys in another video.